There we go. Can you guys hear me there and see me? Apparently, I'm experiencing all the difficulties today. Okay, I got one yes, so hopefully we're good here. Great to see you, ladies. On this Saturday, I'm very curious to know where you guys are coming from, because this will help, but like, what is the temperature where you are? Because I woke up to, I can't remember, I think it was minus 34 with the wind today, and it's chilly. Yesterday was 41, so it's not that chilly, but I'm curious to know what your December temperatures are, and that's Celsius, but 40 Celsius and 40 Fahrenheit is the same. So curious to know if you guys have like similar temperatures, or if you're in nice warm places right now. At least warm, what I consider warm. Maybe not what you guys consider warm. And then we will talk about some Christmas books really soon. Warm, 50 and raining. Okay, I always have to do the math. 50. Okay, yeah, that is warm. Low 40s. Yeah, but you're talking plus 40s, right? So it's not chilly, but no rain. Raining at 52 in Arizona. That seems chilly for Arizona. 0 Celsius, 34. Okay, so like nobody is hitting the like freezing temperatures here. Interesting. I always, growing up, oh, there we go. Wind chill. Okay, I'm trying to do the, Charlene's got the conversions here. -2 Fahrenheit, wind chill of -5. Growing up, I always thought like the United States and Canada were like, I didn't realize how different we were as far as so many different things, but like temperature. 40 and raining. Like I can't even fathom it being, I mean, I have been in places where it's winter and not freezing, but when you're somewhere where it is very cold, it's hard to imagine that like not very far away, it's so much warmer. I'm glad you guys could come out on this Saturday. 64 degrees in Georgia. Minnesota, 10 Fahrenheit. Okay. That's colder for sure. Yep. Cool. So today I wanted to talk Christmas books, and I was originally going to do like a Christmas book recommendation video, but I don't feel like I have a ton of suggestions. I mean, I have some books here, but I don't feel like it's a lot. So I was hoping you guys could help me. And then I was thinking we'll kind of do little subgenres and go from there. Somebody's knocking somewhere. I can hear it. Yeah. So I think what we're going to do, I have a stack here that I was going to talk about. So I hope you guys have some recommendations. But I was thinking we'll start with, where did I put this? Because it makes the most sense to me for Christmas books to be like Christ-centered. And so I was thinking we could start by talking about like Christian Christmas books. Not all of mine are, but I thought that's where we should start. So if you guys have some recommendations, I'm going to share these ones and then we'll go from there. My first one here, I actually just read this. I read this in my Read With Me that went up on the 1st. A Quilt for Christmas. I read about half of it during that video and then finished it afterwards. It's very short. It's like 100 and, where are we at here? 170 pages. So it's a very quick Christmas read, and it's about an old lady who helps out her neighbors during Christmas time, gets to know them, and it's all about like banding together and getting along with people that are not the easiest to get along with, and the fact that there's often reasons behind why people are so grumpy. Yeah, so I mean, it's like a fairly predictable Christmas book, but it's a heartwarming book, and I loved that it was this 4-year-old girl that kind of started this like snowball effect of what became this book, because she requested that her neighbor um, make this quilt for her mom, and like she had, I think, a month to do it, less than a month to do it, so it's pretty intense. So this will be my first recommendation. I'm going to see what you guys have here in the comments so far. A Cross Country Christmas by Courtney Walsh. I've never read any Courtney Walsh, so I'm gonna come back, I think, to the comments after and write these all down. It'd be cool to have like a nice big list. The Story of Our Garden King. It's a kid's Christmas book. I'll have to look into that one for sure. Kids' Christmas books are hard to find good ones, I find. They're so Santa related or like focused, that a good Christ-centered one is nice. So I read this one. I read half of this one yesterday. This is 2 novellas that are about 90 pages each, or 100 pages or so. So I read All Is Calm, and then there's another one that is All Is Bright. This is by Colleen Coble, and I'm assuming both of them, but at least I'll talk about the first one, is a Christian suspense novella. And it was, how do I describe it? It was fairly stereotypical Christian suspense, but then you pack it into a like less than 100 pages, and it was enjoyable. It was heartwarming. There was like foster care elements going on, which really touched my heart. But it's very insta love, because I think the whole book takes place over the span of like a week, and these people are like in love right away, and that is a little hard to believe slash maybe a little cringy. But if you want like a sweet story, that would work, I guess. And then I haven't read the second one. This one sounds like it's more, the Olive is Bright sounds like it focuses more on people that have been friends for a long time. So there shouldn't be that whole like insta love vibe. I haven't decided if I'm going to read All Is Bright. If anyone's read it, maybe let me know, and I will make my decision based off of that. Based off of All Is Calm, I don't feel the need to read All Is Bright, but I can change my opinion for sure. Lexi's got another one. Hark the Herald Angels Screamed. Augusta Goodnight Mysteries. Oh, I've never heard of that. I'm going to quickly look that up. I'm also curious, when did you guys start reading Christmas books? Because I think I've only started reading them in the last few years, and I never know, do you start them like November? Do you start them in December? As a booktuber, you kind of want to start them earlier so you can recommend them, but then I feel like I'm kind of done reading Christmas books before I feel like I'm in a Christmas spirit. Hark the Herald. Nope, that's a different one. Apparently this is a common title. Okay, so Augusta Goodnight, this is a series, and then this is number 6, it looks like. You'd love to know my thoughts on the series or that specific book? I'm curious. I will try to check that one out. Linda, you start to read Christmas books in November. That's when I've started the last couple of years. And the only thing is I feel like I can only read so many Christmas books. So sometimes I kind of like reach my limit before we're very far into December. The book and the series. Okay, Lexi, I will look into that. Leanne says the first year she started to read Christmas fiction started after Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's kind of, I think I was a little earlier. I think if I was American and like had Thanksgiving, it would be different. But because the end of November is nothing special here, then that's when I started a little bit before that, I think. Charlene normally starts reading Christmas books in late November, early December. This year, she's in the middle of 3 fall books. Right. You did just say that, I think, on Patreon, Charlene, didn't you? So you have to finish the fall ones first. And which I think is totally fine. I think, judging from the temperatures you guys are saying that you have, it's totally cool to still be reading fall books. But I mean, if you could see what it looked like out here, this is not like an autumnal reading season anymore. This is like full on winter here. Start reading Christmas books in November before Thanksgiving. I want to start reading such books in a week or so after finishing the current book. Yeah. Going to read a book called The Christmas Barn. Okay. I've never heard of that one. The problem with Christmas books are the titles are so vague. Like A Christmas Quilt. I am curious, if I searched on Goodreads, like how many books have the same title? Not so vague. I mean, they're so like they're so common. They're like, even All Is Calm, All Is Bright. I like what she did with the 2 novellas, calling them that, but there's probably a ton of books under those titles. Okay, my last one in the Christian Christmas books heading is, no surprise, actually this probably isn't my last one. This is my last physical one, but Catching Christmas. This is like a favorite Christmas book of mine. I read it 2 years ago, I think, and then I reread it last year, and I'm not really a rereader a whole lot, especially not like just 1 year after I read it, and I enjoyed it just as much the second time. If you like Gilmore Girls, I think you'll like this because the main character is very Luke Danes-esque, just kind of grouchy, but he's a cab driver, and he has to drive around this old lady because she doesn't have family, and she seems really out of it, and she's going to all these doctor's appointments, and I feel like I don't even want to say too much about it because I've talked about it so much. I think you've probably all heard me like raving about it, but I really like this one. The humor is just, like, I remember when I first started it the first time, it was just laugh out loud funny. Yes, I'm not gonna get sucked in and just start reading it, but really like that one. What else here? Only official Christmas book you're reading is A Christmas Carol. I should put these up. I'm finding it very challenging to read without picturing the Muppets. Oh, I grew up watching the Mickey's Christmas Carol, so that's what I always picture for sure. Like reading Christmas romance books. Yeah, and like all of the ones that I've shared just barely all have definitely romance themes. You read Catching Christmas and felt that it was rather sad. I mean, it does have a sad ending, but I feel like as a Christian, the ending is also uplifting. I mean, that might spoil too many things, but I also feel like the book, you kind of know going into it what's going to happen. Okay, my next, oh no, I have a couple of ebooks. So last year I read Christmas Stockings by Shatona Havig, and I've talked about that one before. It's about a crazy cat lady who thinks that somebody's coming into her house and like moving things, but she's got, I don't remember how many cats, 7, 9. Oh, they might all be named after the reindeer, I think. And so she tries to like tell the police that people are moving things, but they're all pretty sure it's just her cats. And it's like a very light suspense mystery book. And yeah, I thought it was funny. So this year I do plan on reading another one of her Christmas books, Tarnished Silver. So I haven't started that one yet, but it's on my list. Okay, the next ones I'm going to do are Christmas mysteries. I don't have very many, but as I was going through and looking at what I had for Christmas books, I was like, well, I have to recommend some Agatha Christie. even though, I don't know, Christmas mysteries are fun, but they're also not, they're set at Christmas, but like, do you really want a mystery at Christmas? Not necessarily. So this one's not Christmas specific, it's winter. It's Midwinter Murder. So this is a bunch of short stories. I don't remember how many. I read it last year and had so much fun with it. There's quite a few. I'd say like 12 to 15 short stories in here, all very winter feeling. If you like Agatha Christie or you want to give her a try, I think the short stories are a fun way to go because you do get introduced to like some of the detectives. I think Poirot was in here and Agatha, Miss Marple. For some reason, to me, Miss Marple and Agatha Christie are kind of like just the same person. And I think there was a Tommy and Tuppence in here. So it's like a good little introduction to some of her detectives. Lexi, you already shared your Christmas mystery. That's okay. That's okay. I'm very curious about that series. I don't think I've ever heard about it before. And then my only other Christmas mystery is Hercule Poirot's Christmas. But this one's set at Christmas time. A bunch of people come, kids come back to their like family home for Christmas. So it takes place at Christmas, but it doesn't have very much Christmas vibes. There's not a whole lot of talk of different Christmas things going on. And this one is like Agatha Christie's bloodiest mystery because her brother-in-law, apparently, there's a little note to him at the beginning. And it says, "You've always been one of my most faithful and kindly of my readers, and I was therefore seriously perturbed when I received from you a word of criticism. You complained that my murders were getting too refined. You yearned for a good violent murder with lots of blood. So this is your special story, written for you." So it's bloodier, but it's not like super gruesome. I don't think so. It's been a while, but that's my other like Christmas mystery. Charlene's got one here. Cremas, Christmas Cookies and Crooks by Harper Lynn. 7th book in a series, but I read it last year and picked everything up just fine. Oh, there's so many. I think maybe because a lot of cozy writers write like one book, cozy mystery writers write one book over Christmas time, that I hear about them at Christmas, but I never heard of the other series. Would you, Charlene, would you read more from the series based off of that one book? Curious. Okay, next up, let's do Christmas classics. I have some classic books here. For some reason, Little Women screams Christmas to me. I mean, I think it starts out at Christmas, doesn't it? Yes. Christmas won't be Christmas without any presents. And we follow them for a few years. So it's not just set at Christmas, but it definitely has those vibes. And then if you can grab one in like a pretty edition, like I say, I'm always a sucker for gold foil. Love this. I don't feel like I need to say a whole lot about it. We follow the March sisters, and I think it's just a sweet sisterly story. It makes me wish that I had a sister. I mean, I have sister-in-laws, but I love their, like, even though they fight, I like their friendship. Christmas by the Book is on my list for this year. Don't know what it's about. I'm going into it blind. That's completely what I do pretty much every time, unless somebody has like told me something about it, for sure. Read the book that follows, Harper Lynn's Christmas book in January, and you do plan to read more. Okay, I'll have to look into that series. Cool. Yeah, so I'm going to go through these next two pretty fast because, well, this one, I mean, we've already kind of talked about A Christmas Carol. It's been a few years since I've read this one, but yes, I picture Mickey Mouse. It's a little dark. Mickey Mouse, Tiny Tim, that's what I picture when I think of A Christmas Carol. It doesn't take very long to read. I know some people read it every single year. I feel like maybe this might be a year that I should reread it. We'll see. I love these. These are puffin chalk editions, like these covers. Hi from Quebec. Welcome here. Looking forward to rereading Little Women. Love that book. Yes, it is a good one. Oh, Ballet Shoes has a lot of Christmas vibes. Yes, I think you're right. I forgot about that book. That's a good one. And it's a Christmas classic for sure. The Mickey version is excellent too. Yes, it was interesting. It was interesting reading because like I grew up watching the Mickey Christmas Carol, and then the first time I sat down and read this, I was like, oh, I feel like the Mickey version does a really good job sticking to the story. Now I'm curious. I should watch the Muppet version. Oh, yes, we are going to be doing middle grade ones here right away, but I forgot about this one, so we'll sneak this one in. Green Glass House by Kate Midford. It's Milford, yeah. It's about a smugglers inn where a bunch of people are snowed in at Christmas. I do like it. I have not read more from that series, though. I keep meaning to. The Nutcracker by Alexander. Oh, Dumas. That would be interesting. I am curious. I've never read any of his books. Have a bunch of them that I want to read, but that would be really cool. Christmas classic. And then I've got Letters from Father Christmas. I do feel like, speaking of Charlene here, she sent this one to me last year. I feel like this one isn't as well known as it should be, as well known as he is. I feel like not enough people know about this book. So these are letters that he wrote to his kids as Father Christmas. So he, from when his youngest was little, he would draw a picture of himself or like there's other characters that come into play, and then he would write little notes to them about his time in the North Pole. And thankfully they have also like transcribed the text because Santa often writes in hard to read writing, and also just seeing the effort that he put into like the envelopes. I don't know, I guess people just took more time with things back then. And then more characters come into play. There is a polar bear that comes into play, and then things get broken through the years, and I've just, this was so fun to read, and it was so cool to see how he took storylines from his letter from like the year before and like told his kids the update on how things are going and what's gone wrong at the North Pole, and I really enjoyed this one. So if you have any more Christmas classics, let me know. I was looking through my shelves, and sometimes I feel like you miss the most obvious ones, but I couldn't think of any more. And then I have like my whole TBR shelf there where I haven't read any of that stuff. So I didn't include those. Oops. Let's do this one first. We now have a mailbox in our house that says Letters to Santa. Oh, Charlene, that would be so cool. But if you do that, I want to see pictures. Do that. Send your kids letters. That would be brilliant. I bought Letters from Father Christmas for my son last year. We read it a few here and there throughout the season. It's such a unique book. It really is. Oh, that's really cool. I should have done that with my kids too. Normally read a ton of Christmas books and try to cram as many in as possible between Thanksgiving and Christmas. This year I'm not feeling it as much. Read one so far in the middle of two. That happens. Even like I was thinking about my nonfiction reading from this last year, and I don't remember the total of how many nonfiction books I read. Less than 10, and it's usually at least double that. And I just have been in a season where I don't really feel like reading nonfiction much, so it happens. Have you read Ellen Montgomery's Christmas short stories? Yes, some of them. I actually forgot to grab them. So I have one on my TBR that is 3 short little stories. And then I do have, I think it's called Classic Christmas. It's a bind up of some of Ellen Montgomery's short stories. It has A Christmas Carol. I can't remember, some short stories and poems from other classic authors as well. Oh yes, and Louisa May Alcott was another one that had short stories in there too. But I do want to get my hands on more of Ellen Montgomery's short stories, and I don't own any of Louisa May Alcott's other than, I think there was like one in that Classic Christmas bind up. Going to be reading A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas during Christmas. Start A Court of Wings and Ruin tonight. I have never read those. Are those Christmassy? Okay, so you have the same bind up. Yeah, it's. I think it's pretty cool. I didn't read all of it last year because I kind of wanted to save a little bit for this year, but I liked what I did read. Chicago suburbs, 30 degrees. Brain is doing the math. Okay, yep. Have you read The Holiday Swap? No, I have not. Okay, and then my next section is middle grade Christmas books. So we already had The Green Glass House mentioned, and I forgot to grab A Boy Called Christmas. Yeah, that's what it's called. I didn't love that one. It has really cool illustrations. I wanted to love it. I think I read that one for my first ever Christmas Read With Me video that I did. So I didn't grab that one. Those are 2 recommendations. One that I read earlier this year is A Place to Hang the Moon. This one, actually, I don't know what time of year it starts. I don't know if it really tells us. Kind of like summer or fall. No, it starts in summer. Yes, but the bulk of it happens around Christmas time. Like the big good stuff happens around Christmas time. So this is set during World War II. We follow siblings who go out to the countryside to live with a family to get out of London, and they are also tasked with the job of trying to find a forever family because their grandmother has just died, left them with a ton of money, but they don't have anyone to look after them. And I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Listened to the audio with my family. The audio is not very good. I will say that. It definitely knocked like the book down an entire star in my mind. So that was unfortunate, but physically reading it, it was great. I feel like we've got lots here. I love listening to A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Oh, I've never listened to it. Is there a specific narrator that you listen to? Because I feel like there's probably a lot of versions, and that could make or break it, I think. Okay, I have never, ever read this book. The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. I've heard of it a million times, but I've never read it. Probably should fix that. Wings and Ruin and Frost and Starlight are in the Court of... Yes. We're just doing Christmas recommendations, so I was just wondering if this was a Christmas book or not. I guess I should change my banner. Middle grade. There we go. Sky Song. Oh, Lexi, you always have cool recommendations, and I've never heard of them. Sky Song. I'm going to look this one up too because it sounds cool. Does it have a fantastical element? Because you like a lot of fantasy. Oh, the cover. I'll show you guys the cover. That looks cool. Oh, is that going to focus? No, it's not. Okay, fine. I won't show you the cover. That looks cool. You're supposed to join Eska, a girl who breaks free from a cursed magic box, and Flint, a boy whose inventions could change the fate of Erkenwald forever. So I'm guessing it's fantasy. Oh, and now she tells me, yes, it's magically wonderful and wintry. Cool. If you guys don't follow Lexi on Instagram, you should do so. She's got some really cool recommendations, especially the fantasy stuff. Okay, Sarah, how did I not pull this one out? Yes, absolutely. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. God, got out a book that I said that does remind me of Narnia, and forgot to grab that one. Absolutely. See, this is why I need you guys. I borrow A Christmas Carol from the library, and Jim Dale narrates it. Okay. I will look for the Jim Dale narrated A Christmas Carol. Oh. Listening to the Mistletoe Countess. It's mystery and Christian. It's a little more descriptive to the physical romance than I like, but it's okay. I have that one out from the library right now. I read the first 2 chapters. It didn't captivate me, but I like the one main character is totally blanking. She's like a bookish person. So this would be under like the Christian Christmas books. And I have heard that from other people, that the physical side is a little bit more descriptive, which is frustrating when it's a Christian book. I feel like if it's a mainstream book, you kind of expect that and it's different, but I've heard that it's a pretty good book too. Okay. Okay, Charlene, you're ahead of me. I did bring that one too. This is Winter House. This is the first 2 books, or all of them take place over winter break. The first 2 do, right? And then the other one is Easter or another, I don't remember, a different holiday. I always love showing that this is a pop-out or like a punch-out cover. And then you've got the characters behind there. You can see inside the house. It's pretty cool. So this is middle grade story about a girl named Elizabeth. This gives me Matilda vibes. She lives with her aunt and uncle. They don't really like her. She goes to Winter House for Christmas. Comes across some mysteries. There's some fantastical elements, and yeah, I really liked it. Plus, there's elements of, she really likes to write lists. Elizabeth flipped it open, and on the 5th page, entry number 43 on her list of reasons why I do not like my aunt and uncle, she wrote, because they are sending me to a hotel in the middle of nowhere during Christmas with no money and hardly any clothes. That was just a random spot I flipped to. She has all these different lists. But then each page has these cool little word games. This one is word ladders, but all the books have different little word games for the chapter titles. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say with this. The first 1 and 2 take place over Christmas, and then it's a trilogy. So then you just have to read book 3. My stack over here is getting a little tall. Okay, this is Lexi's Instagram, Lexi Daisy Books. Follow her there. I read the best Christmas pageant ever. It was good, though it was a while ago. Yeah, I should read that one. Okay, the 3rd Winter House is over Easter break. Okay, yes. They're a lot of fun. I like it. I was just actually recommending it to my son the other day. I think he would enjoy it as well. I have one more middle grade Christmas recommendation, and then we'll see if we can recommend any more. So the second Eggie Morton, Mystery Queen, Peril at Owl Park, takes place at Christmas. She goes to her sister's house for Christmas, and with her friend Hector, and they stumble across a body. It's amazing how many like preteen kids stumble across like multiple bodies. I mean, I'm in my 30s, never come across one yet. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this series. I always like to show that they do a lineup of all the characters. Some of them are suspects, some of them are just like, we've got Eggie and we've got Hector and stuff. So some of them are just random people. And I've never like really tried to solve these books, but I don't know, I always feel like they're not like overly obvious as to who is the guilty party. So that's another recommendation there. So other than the Mistletoe Countess, I have a couple more Christmas books out. So it's like I've got all my library books on this cart here. I currently have The Bridge by Karen Kingsbury out. I should turn this off again. This one, I read the first chapter and it intrigued me because it has to do with a bookstore. I think I can probably predict most of what else happens, but it has to do with a bookstore where like this had to do with someone that likes reading. That always catches my attention. I like to read books with readers and bookstores. And then a lot of people have said good things about The Afterlife of Holly Chase. So I might read these ones yet. These are like on my TBR, as well as the L.M. Montgomery short stories that I have. Can't remember if I have any other Christmas books on my TBR. Do you guys have any other Christmas recommendations that don't fit in the categories that I said or that you thought of while we were going through here? I gotta move my stacks so they don't topple over. Oh, one that I just thought of is I started this one, or I started one in the series. I can't remember if it was the Christmas one. There is a middle grade mystery series called Wells and Wong, and they have a Christmas one, a mistletoe Christmas. I'm not really confident on that title. I saw they're on Book Outlet, or a few in the series are. So I might try one of those, or the Christmas one. Read Catching Christmas and Noel Street so far this year, both better than I expected. Just bought Holiday Swap today. Not normally a romance fan, but that seems to be a common Christmas theme. It really does. And yeah, and I feel like I'm a little bit more okay with it at Christmas than normal, but it seems to be hard to find Christmas books without that being at least like one of the main themes. I'm gonna see if I have any Christmas books. I've got stacks of books everywhere. I was gonna say in this room, but I really mean in my house. Oh, I just got this one from the library. I haven't even looked at it. Missed it on my stack. This is Baby, It's Cold Outside by Susan May Warren. This one says, Dottie Morgan has no desire to share her home or her heart this Christmas. After all, her holiday spirit froze over when she lost her son in World War II. But when the blizzard of the decade descends on Frost, Minnesota, nice name, trapping Dottie in her home with 4 near strangers, she discovers that opening her door might also open her heart to a miracle and a new reason to celebrate Christmas. I do like the strangers snowed in theme that happens a few times in Agatha Christie's short stories. So I've read one Susan May Warren before and enjoyed it. It was not what I was expecting. Oh yes, this is another great recommendation. The Vanderbeekers of 141st Street. Is it the first? Which one takes place at Christmas? I think I've read a couple. I know I don't remember which one, but yes, that's a cute little series. Oh, No Exit. It's a thriller set around Christmas. Yes, it has quite a bit of swearing and it's kind of intense. I read that one last year or the year before during a blizzard, which was the perfect setting. If you can handle, normally I wouldn't say I can handle a gruesome book. I feel like it was gruesome, but it was very good. It was very. I kept turning the pages really fast. Sorry you missed the beginning. Thanks for coming. Around this time, I always crave rereading my favorite classics. Some have Christmas scenes, but others just make me feel cozy. Anne of Green Gables, Little Women, Jane Eyre, The Hobbit. That's a really good lineup. I like that. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of L.M. Montgomery's books have Christmas scenes because so many of them take place over a few years. I really wish there were more Christmas books that didn't center around romance, like mystery thrillers. Even sci-fi would be cool. Yes, so I did read a Christmas sci-fi last year or the year before, And I'm trying to remember who it was by. It might come to me. The only thing is, it was very sci-fi and like it just took place around Christmas, so it didn't feel very Christmassy. I don't really know, but if there could be other genres that have Christmas themes, like even mystery, when they do have Christmas books, there's still like a very heavy romance element, it feels like. Or if the series doesn't normally, then there is in that one. It's strange. Oh, currently reading Agatha Christie's Midwinter Murder. It's fun. Yes, it is. I like it. And there's another edition out there that has like a really gorgeous cover as well. I like that one. Catching Christmas was a favorite of mine last year. That's good. I'm glad so many people like Catching Christmas. And that one does, like, it definitely has a romance theme, but there's so much more going on in that one, I feel like. Welcome here. I think right now we're just doing general recommendations. So if you have any general Christmas recommendations, throw them in the comments. Yeah, so I've talked about, let's see here, these 4 that are currently Christmas books that I have out that I'm curious to read. 3 of them I read the first chapter for a Patreon video. This one I just barely got in from the library. Do you guys want to like vote on which one of these I should read? So we've got Baby It's Cold Outside by Susan May Warren, The Bridge by Karen Kingsbury, The Mistletoe Countess by Pepper Basham, and The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. If you guys want to like pop the title of one of these in the comments, I'll like try to gauge which one seems to be the most and try to pick that one up next. Sherry, just listen to the Christmas Table. Excellent. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's about? I've never heard of that one. It's another one of those titles that's like the Christmas quilt, the Christmas table. It doesn't give a whole lot. The bridge was cute, Hallmarky. That's kind of what I'm expecting from it. But I like the bookstore vibes, yeah. A fun non-romance Christmas book is John Grisham's Skipping Christmas. Feels like a fun Christmas movie from the 90s. That does sound fun. I have a few of his books on my TBR, but not Skipping Christmas. That's cool. Okay, we got to vote for The Afterlife of Holly Chase. I've heard really good things. Like, I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say anything negative about it. This one definitely starts out, the first chapter is kind of like A Christmas Carol because she gets visited by the ghosts, the 3 ghosts. And then after the first chapter, she gets visited by the ghosts. She decides she doesn't want to listen to them. She just continues living her life the way that she wants to. So that was on Christmas Eve that she was visited, and December 31st she dies. And she finds out that she's now part of Project Scrooge. So that all takes place in the first 20 pages. And then we skip to 5 years later. Let's see here. Another Afterlife of Holly Chase. Love the movie based on Skipping Christmas. Oh, it's Christmas with the Cranks. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Afterlife of Holly Chase. Oh, now I gotta read Skipping Christmas and then watch the movie. Okay, I think there might be a bit of a theme here. A classic reread in my house is The Lion in the Box. Short turn-of-the-century poor family who receive a Christmas miracle. I've never heard of that one. It's okay, so this is, I have to go back. What was the book called? Oh, The Christmas Table. It's a new dual timeline and believing in the miracle of prayer. Oh, that sounds good. The Christmas Table or At Christmas? The Christmas Table. Okay, I'll look at that one yet. Afterlife of Holly Chase. I loved it last year, so I'm hoping you will too. Well, so far this is like the only book that's really been voted on, so it looks like this will be getting added to my TBR. Okay. I think we're probably winding down here. I went through all of my recommendations, books I'm curious about that I currently have out from the library. You guys have given some really good ones. I need to go back through and like write down some of these titles. If you have any last minute recommendations, I think we'll close things up here in like the next few minutes. So let me know in the comments if you have any other recommendations. There's been like a few in the like mystery genre, some all over. Listening to the Flavia Deluche series, I have read a few of those, but I think I always stopped at book 3. I think I read book 3. The fourth in the series is I Am Half Sick of Shadows. I don't think I've read that one. I feel like I liked those books. I ended up getting rid of all of the ones I had actually, but I didn't love them. They felt like this weird to me. It felt like our main character is what, like 12, 13. So it feels like it should be a middle grade book, but it's definitely not. My brain struggled with those two things. Oh yeah, okay. She's 11. She has a passion for chemistry and solving crimes. Yeah, I loved the premise of it, but my brain just really struggled with reading a book with a main character who feels like she should be in a middle grade book. I don't know. All these Afterlife of Holly Chase recommendations definitely has me interested. Yeah, me too. So curious. This year I'm doing during Bookmas, I'm doing kind of like vlog style reading wrap-ups as I go. So I should be able to share a bit about this in those videos. I sped up the voice of the narrator and felt like she was a hyper little girl telling me the story. Okay, so maybe I should try it on audio because I was just reading it, and that kind of sounds like fun. Yes, I feel like it should have been middle grade, but I agree it's not. Yeah, it's definitely an adult book, but if I could, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna write that down. Cool. Okay, we got about 2 more minutes, let's say. Coming up, so there's no Bookmas video tomorrow since I had one go up this morning and then I was doing this. Then my theory was anyone that missed the live could watch this tomorrow. Then Monday, my favorite manga is going to be coming out. Yeah, I just finished editing that one. So that will be coming out. Tuesday is going to be a reading vlog / wrap up. I've been sharing the books that I've been reading. Then Wednesday, I'm talking about 2023 book goals that I have, and there's a few. I already recorded that one, and then realized afterwards I kind of forgot a goal. So that might be a separate video, but we'll see. And then after that, I'm going to be doing fantasy recommendations. Those I have all filmed already, other than the vlog, which I'm like in the middle of, just to give you an idea of what's coming up. Just got the Afterlife of Holly Chase from the library as an ebook. Good. I'm glad you got a recommendation, even though I have no idea if it's any good. But I've heard good things, so we'll see. I guess we'll see together. Definitely that was the one that won out the votes. I thought I would have to like count to see which ones had the most votes, but apparently that's the one. So that's cool. I'll take this upstairs with me and put it by my reading spot. Okay, I think then we are good. Thank you everyone for hopping in and like adding some depth to this, because I definitely forgot some fairly obvious, should have been fairly obvious Christmas books, and recommending ones that I've never heard of, letting me know which one I should read next. I'm so thankful for all of you. It's so weird to think that like there's a whole community of people talking about books online. When I think about myself as a kid, just reading books on my own, like if I could have known that this was in the future, it would have blown my mind, that's for sure. We're also holiday chill. We couldn't vote with Magic Gusto. And that's good. I'm good with, this is good. Thanks for coming, Lexi, and giving those suggestions. I'm going to look your books up. Okay, I guess you guys will see me on Monday if you're watching each of the videos. And hopefully we can do another live soon. Probably in the new year, though, I'm thinking. Thanks so much for being here, everybody.